Is time even real? What physics and philosophy say about the illusion of time. You woke up this morning, you looked at the clock, another day, another hour, another second ticking by, but what if I told you? Time isn't real. Not the way you think it is, not a river, not a line, not even a flow, just a strange illusion stitched into your mind, a ghost that vanishes the moment you try to hold it. The past is gone, the future hasn't happened, and the present, by the time you say now, it's already slipped away. And yet, we live by it. We chase it, we fear it, we measure our lives in hours, our worth in productivity, our deaths in calendars. But what if all of it, the ticking, the rushing, the aging, is just a story? A useful lie we've mistaken for truth. In this video, we're going to break the illusion. Through physics, ancient thought, and the silence between seconds, we'll explore a question that rattles even the sharpest minds. Is time even real? Or is it just something we invented to cope with change? Before Einstein, time was simple, a universal clock, ticking for everyone, everywhere. But then came relativity, and the illusion shattered. In 1905, Albert Einstein showed us something strange. Time is not constant. It bends, it stretches, and it depends on you. Move fast enough and time slows down. Sit on the edge of a black hole and time nearly stops. The faster you move, the slower your clock ticks. Not a trick, not a theory, a measurable, tested fact. Astronauts orbiting Earth for months return younger than if they had stayed. By milliseconds, but still it's real. Time, it turns out, is not the same for all. It is tied to space and to motion. That's why Einstein called it spacetime, a single woven fabric, not two separate threads. But here's where it gets even stranger. If time can move differently for you than for me, whose now is real? What even is the present? According to physics, there's no universal now. The idea of a shared, moving moment is just a useful illusion. Imagine your entire life, every moment you've ever lived and every moment you ever will, all existing at once, not like a movie playing frame by frame, but like a film strip laid out on a table. That's the block universe. In this view, time doesn't flow, nothing moves, nothing becomes. Everything, past, present, future, just is. A four-dimensional landscape of events, already written, already there. You at 5 years old, blowing out birthday candles, still there. You in a moment that hasn't come yet, an old version of yourself sitting in silence, also already there. The only reason you think time is moving is because your consciousness is moving through the block, like a needle on a record, like a flashlight, illuminating frame by frame, but the record was always there. You don't change the song by listening to it, you just experience it, one note at a time. And here's the deepest chill. If the block universe is real, then free will might not be, because every choice you think you're about to make has already been made, already written, already there. You're not writing the script, you're just reading it, line by line. If time doesn't truly flow, if every moment is already etched into the fabric of space-time, then why do we feel it passing? Why does childhood feel far behind us? Why does the future still feel unknown, unopened? The answer lies not in the stars, but in the brain. Your brain is not a clock. It doesn't count seconds like a stopwatch. Instead, it measures change, movement, motion, transformation. You see a tree shed its leaves. You feel your skin wrinkle with age. You hear the footsteps fade down a hallway, and your mind tells you, time is passing. But it's a story your brain creates, a survival tool, not a truth. Evolution didn't design you to perceive objective time. It designed you to notice what's important. Change, cause, effect, danger, reward, memory. Neuroscience shows that your sense of time is tied to memory and anticipation. The more you remember, the longer something feels. The less you notice, the faster it slips by. That's why childhood summers feel endless and adulthood a blur. Even your present moment is not truly present. What you see as now is a lagging simulation, a delayed, edited version of the world stitched together by your brain. You never live in the moment, you live in a shadow of it. And yet, this illusion is beautiful. It gives rhythm to your life, meaning to your days. It allows you to grow, to hope, to plan, to dream. Time may be a trick, but it's a trick that lets you be human. Long before Einstein, long before clocks, before calendars, relativity or space-time, humanity asked, what is time? Not just how it works, but what it means. The question haunted Plato. In his Timaeus, he wrote, "Time is the moving image of eternity." For Plato, time wasn't real on its own, it was a shadow, a reflection of a deeper, unchanging truth, a mirror cast by the eternal world of perfect forms. His student Aristotle, more grounded, disagreed. He saw time not as something separate from the world, but as a measure of motion, of change. Time is the number of change in respect to the before and after. No change, no time. In a perfectly still universe, time wouldn't exist at all. Then came St. Augustine, centuries later, a Christian philosopher and one of the first to truly question the nature of the present. What then is time? If no one asks me, I know. If I wish to explain it to him who asks, I do not know. Augustine noticed a paradox. The past no longer exists, the future does not yet exist, and the present is just a vanishing point, a knife edge we can never quite hold. So what is time, if it's made of things that don't exist? Meanwhile, in the East, philosophers had very different ideas. In Buddhism, time was never a fixed reality. Life was seen as a flow, but that flow was an illusion. Nothing was permanent. No moment truly existed independently, and the self that experiences time, also an illusion. In Hindu thought, time was cyclical. The universe wasn't heading towards a final moment. It was repeating endlessly, creation, destruction, rebirth. The ages came and went like seasons, and even gods were bound by the cycles of time. And then the Stoics, who believed everything was part of a great cosmic order, where time was not chaos but divine logic unfolding. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Time is like a river made up of events and a violent stream, for as soon as a thing has been seen, it is carried away and another comes in its place." All these ancient voices, from Athens to India to Rome, didn't see time the way we do today. To them, time wasn't a tool. It wasn't a currency to spend. It was a mystery, a force, a question that whispered from the edges of consciousness. What if time is not a thing at all, not a dimension, not a river, not a force, but simply change, a measure of difference between one state and the next? If nothing changed, if no leaf fell, no breath was drawn, no thought passed through your mind, would there still be time? Or would everything freeze into a single, eternal moment? This is the philosophical puzzle. Is time something real that exists outside of events? Or is it just a mental label we place on the sequence of changes? When you watch the moon rise, what are you truly seeing? Time moving, or just the earth turning, the sky shifting, and your brain stitching those changes into a narrative? The philosopher Immanuel Kant believed time wasn't out there at all. It wasn't a substance, not part of the external world. It was a framework of the mind, a way for us to organize experience. You don't perceive time, you project it. And yet we trust time. We obey it. We structure our lives around it, count the years, celebrate birthdays, fear deadlines, regret the past, dream of the future. We live as if time is real, but what if it's not? The more we dig, the more time slips through our fingers, not because it's mysterious, but because it might not be anything at all. Until the early 1900s, time was believed to be absolute, a steady drumbeat, universal and unchanging. No matter who you were, where you were, time ticked on, the same for all. Then came a young man working at a Swiss patent office, a man with no formal academic position, but with an idea that would forever fracture our view of reality. His name was Albert Einstein. In 1905, Einstein published his theory of special relativity, and with it he shattered the clock. Time, he said, does not pass equally for everyone. The faster you move, the slower time moves for you, not as an illusion, not as a trick of perception, but physically, measurably. Time itself bends. Imagine two twins. One stays on Earth, the other boards a spaceship traveling near the speed of light. When the traveling twin returns, he's younger. This is not science fiction, this is reality, and it has been proven again and again, even with precise atomic clocks flown on airplanes. A few years later, Einstein went further. In 1915, he introduced general relativity, and with it, the idea that gravity also warps time. The stronger the gravitational field, the slower time moves. Time passes more slowly on the surface of the Earth than on a mountaintop, more slowly near a black hole than in deep space. In Einstein's universe, space and time are no longer separate. They are fused into a single fabric, Spacetime. And that fabric bends and curves under the weight of matter and energy. So now we must ask if time can stretch, if it can slow down, if it can almost stop near the edge of a black hole. Is it really a constant, or just a property of the universe, fragile and warped, like a ripple on a cosmic pond? You followed time from philosophy to relativity, but now it begins to vanish. Because deep inside the quantum world, time may not exist at all. Physicists have long searched for a theory that could unite the large-scale world of gravity with the small-scale realm of quantum particles. In this search, they found something strange. The deeper the equation, the less time seems to matter. In some of the most advanced models of the universe, like loop quantum gravity or string theory, the fundamental math doesn't even contain time, not as a variable, not as a constant, not at all. Time drops out of the equation. The famous physicist Carlo Rovelli writes, "At the most fundamental level, there is no such thing as time. Instead, what we call time might just be an emergent illusion, something that arises only when particles are viewed together, not in isolation. Think of temperature. No single atom has a temperature, but many atoms, moving, vibrating, produce heat. Maybe time is like that, not real by itself, but a pattern that emerges when matter interacts. Quantum physics also challenges our sense of time's direction. In classical physics, cause precedes effect. You push the glass, it falls. You light a match, it burns. But at the quantum level, the math works both ways. Time can run forward or backward, and the outcome doesn't change. Even more shocking, in some experiments, the future seems to influence the past. As if decisions made now can alter how a particle behaved then. These are not fantasies. They are published, peer-reviewed phenomena. And they leave us asking, if time isn't fundamental, what is? What if time is not the river, but the wake it leaves behind? A trail in the water, not the water itself. After all the theories, the equations, the metaphors, we're left with the most haunting question of all. What is time, really? Is it just a coordinate, a tool our brains invented to make sense of motion and memory? Or is it the very fabric of creation, stitched into the architecture of the universe by something greater than ourselves? If time is real, then we are riding a river that flows in one direction, from birth to death. But if it's not, if time is only an illusion, then perhaps past, present and future all coexist in a single eternal tapestry, and we are simply the ones moving through it. From Einstein's warping clocks to quantum theories that erase time altogether, from ancient philosophers to modern-day physicists, the mystery remains, not one of science alone, but of existence itself. So maybe in the end, the only real time is now. The breath you're taking, the thought you're thinking, the choice you're making. And perhaps, just perhaps, behind all of it, this illusion of time, this dance of change and entropy, there is a mind, not ours, but the one who designed it all, a creator who exists outside of time, not bound by its flow, but the one who started the clock. Not subject to the illusion, but the one who built it. In the end, time may not be a property of the universe, but a whisper, a message, a way to remind us that we are not eternal, but someone is. Thank you for watching. If you're still here, you're not just curious, you're a thinker, and thinkers belong here. So if you found value in this journey, subscribe, join the conversation, and don't forget, the unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates.